Oh dear, seems as though we have one more 2024 separation on our hands, folks. And this time it's Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Yet didn't we, as of now, see this one coming? Supposedly it's finished. And they're set out towards separate. And for once Ben's not to fault purportedly, he's been lamenting leaving his ex Jennifer Garner and getting with Gillo a tad of foundation before we get into this separation show. Bennifer initially started dating in 2001 with Ben, asking about tying the knot in 2002 with a monstrous pink jewel wedding band. Yet they canceled their wedding only days before they were set to say I do in 2004 and split for good only months after the fact. Then, very nearly 20 years after they previously got together, Ben and Jennifer were spotted on a sweet date in the Hamptons in 2021. And by the mid-year of 2022, they had proactively gotten hitched. Yet, assuming you've been top dog, you presumably saw that Jen and Ben haven't been freely seen together since around spring 30th, when they were together for a trip in New York. Yet Jennifer further cocked eyebrows that something was certainly going on when she preferred an Instagram post about solid connections, which read partially, "You can't construct a relationship with somebody who is disengaged from themselves." Jen was likewise composing solo for the Met Gala, and the explanation given for that was that Ben was chipping away at the bookkeeper as well, so he was unable to go to with Jen child. That was simply cap. 'Cause it truly doesn't take a virtuoso to see that there's a difficult situation in heaven, or likely even a difficult situation. 'Cause we are discussing a separation here, loves yet, even before these new reports we've been seeing the signs. And they were bounty a lot. For example, in a video that turned into a web sensation, Ben was depicted as looking focused and hopeless on an espresso run in LA, and seemed to hammer a vehicle entryway in the wake of assisting Jennifer into the Traveler, with seating. That very month film seemed showing them in what gave off an impression of being a warmed column in a vehicle at a bunch of traffic signals in bubble slopes. Ben pointed straightforwardly at Jen, who dismissed to watch through of the window, as they plainly took part in what resembled a warmed contention discussing warmed trades. Finally, years Grammy grants Jennifer likewise seemed to rage at her significant other during a strange trade, which the couple attempted to make light of. Additionally, examine this video of Ben after he tells Gillo he'll be back. It's like he was unable to stand by to move away from her, Enu, who the reports are presently saying that they are on two distinct pages of their marriage, with a source in any event enlightening US week after week regarding what is going on. Jen and Ben are having issues in their marriage. They began having issues a couple of months prior, as Jen had begun inclining up work responsibilities and preparing for her visit. We additionally had TMZ revealing that Ben had moved out, with the source letting them know we're informed he went out, that he's been seen coming from and going to, and where we're informed he's been going through the night too. Clearly, with the bits of gossip about the separation circumventing, fans have additionally concocted their own motivations behind why they think the marriage was done working. And I'm not shocked that many individuals are truly saying that Ben became weary of JLo continuously looking for consideration and putting their affection life out there for everyone to investigate. I mean, this truly isn't fantastical thinking. About that, Ben himself said that assuming it ultimately depended on him, their marriage could never work out via online entertainment. Like I said, Jen and Ben at first separated in 2003, preceding reconnecting 20 years after the fact. And concerning what prompted their separation back in 2003, Ben made sense of that. This steady, open investigation put a burden on their relationship. Yet he later figured out how to adapt to the new section in their romantic tale. Once they reconnected, he even said on Jennifer's 2024 narrative, "The best romantic tale never told reuniting." I said, "Listen, something I don't need is a relationship via online entertainment." And afterward I kind of understood it's anything but something fair to request its sort from, like, "You will wed a boat chief And you go, well, I could do without the water. We're only two individuals with sort of various methodologies, attempting to figure out how to think twice about he didn't exactly become accustomed to having his affection life promoted, 'cause evidently that is one thing that truly overwhelmed their marriage. There was even a scene from the narrative where Ben was observably awkward, with JLo sharing subtleties of their old love letters with her companions and associates. To add on to that, purportedly JLo truly pushed Ben to keep a specific picture, and it arrived at a highlight where Ben was enraged on the grounds that he was getting banged for fillers and Botox that Jen pushed him to get. Supposedly, obviously JLo had persuaded him that everyone in Hollywood does a little facial support, including his old buddies like Matt Damon. And many individuals are likewise expressing that since they haven't been shot together since spring, perhaps the separation has something to do with Jen being associated with Diddy's case. Since Spring is additionally around when individuals were saying that Jen was complicit in a portion of the violations. And yes, I'm discussing the one where Nat and Ruin, who was correct in everything, was smacked in the face. She previously said that she needs the slug pieces removed from her face for ballistics proof. Said she's glad to have the case returned, like she will have a specialist eliminate a piece of the 9mm projectile in front of her so they can involve it as proof, assuming need be for the preliminary, regardless of whether it will cost her life. Nathan additionally said that JLo directly up deceived the jury, and she ought to likewise be researched close by Diddy. We as a whole needed to proceed to talk. Bergillo affirmed at the great jury, as did numerous others, it should be resumed since, supposing that that is truth be told, the case she conveyed, and she missiled the grandkid, it should be resumed. And if you all perceived how JLo has recently been a wreck as an edge, other than the daddy embarrassment, she has been in the titles for every one of some unacceptable reasons from her ventures that are struggling, and add to that the Bronx orange beverage debate turning biting gum in her associate's hand in New York City. And she was likewise called out for how severely she abuses her staff. Fans have been bringing up that it can't be an occurrence that many individuals who've worked for JLo all have similar story about how they were dealt with. And she's likewise been moving again for how she's continuously appropriating dark culture, yet won't recognize dark craftsmen behind the progress of her music. So she has called herself a Nerita, so she sort of recognizes being of African plummet. I think the issue with Jenny from the block is that they cut my giggle, and they kept terrible lives. And they turned her vocals like right down, and the from the Bronx part is me. And it's so individuals are saying that assuming this is the demeanor she likewise has in her marriage child, it's absolutely impossible that it was truly going to hold well. There have additionally been reports saying that JLo and Ben are both not prepared to tap out presently and could choose to chip away at their marriage. Apparently, Ben has confidence in treatment to a point and will be a decent game about taking an interest with a receptive outlook, despite the fact that he despises the entire embarrassing cycle. A source likewise said that he's never going to check the progress of his marriage by what occurs in the specialist's office, and that he has a higher capacity to bear struggle and battling to get everything he could possibly want than the typical person. Now, after an insider noticed that they have known Ben for over 10 years, they made sense of that everything is a battle for Ben and Jen, adding the main fulfillment he gets in life is defeating when the situation is anything but favorable for him. Now that they're brought together, the inner self fight among Ben and Jennifer was consistently on full presentation and is just obscured by the undeniable enthusiasm and regard they have for each other. Yet there must be a simpler way, and you need to inquire as to why they like